because we all knew that Laura and I were going to win anyway.
Well, I mean,
predict accurately based upon our animal knowledge.
Well, plus, I mean, but everyone said that Penn State was going to.
Yes,
and it just happened to be that they had the better mascot.
It just happened to be they had the better mascot. I saw a TikTok, a friend sent it to me, talking about the Penn State's mascot, and it looks like a little kid drew a line that was on meth. And I'm like, that's accurate.
Yeah.
Like, very accurate.
Whereas, like, the Nittany Lion statue is so...
Yeah, it's
beautiful.
Good.
Yeah, it's super accurate. Yeah. Then
there's this mascot. Creepy as all get out. I bet he talks like that too. If not, we need the whatever kid's the mascot for this year to actually talk that way. Alrighty, so this week we're doing something a little bit different because the NFL starts this week. So we're going to pick one college game and then one NFL game.
I'm excited to hear about the big time people. I feel like I'll recognize the names of the mascots, but maybe not.
For the NFL?
Yeah.
Okay.
I cannot believe that I'm losing to y'all right out of the gate. All the research I did on that game.
I can.
And both y'all are 2-0.
That's the problem. You did too much research.
What was their downfall? It wasn't the quarterback, was it?
Oh, it definitely was. It absolutely took over.
It definitely was.
Oh, man.
I kind of misjudged South Carolina's defense.
I think a lot of people did.
I should have went with my intuition, knowing a Ram could kick the crap out of a Gamecock, and just went with it. And I did not.
Yep. Well, once again, we'll see if Donnie Pigskin Poet Martin can do any better this week with his predictions. So do you want to start with, let's start with college then, Donnie. Do you want to talk about the college game you have picked, which this is going to be a good one. Hopefully it should be good.
So this is probably the game of the year. Alabama, Texas.
Yeah, everybody's talking about it.
The Alabama Crimson Tide and the Texas Longhorns. So Texas is going to the SEC starting next year. They are historical powerhouses in college football. They haven't played often recently, and they're playing in a 2-game series leading up to them going to the SEC. So this game's going to set the tone, when they do enter the SEC. But what makes this game special is, if anyone pays attention to Texas high school football, Southlake Carroll, their quarterback was Quinn Ewers, and that same year, Alabama's quarterback, Jalen Milroe, they were two of the top quarterbacks in Texas, and that was when the NIL came out to where college players could get contracts and get money, get paid while they're playing. So they graduated early. Quinn Ewers, the Texas quarterback, went to Ohio State. Milroe went to Alabama. So these two guys, they're about to play, and this is like a Texas high school football follower's dream. This is a huge matchup for that. And this is one of the biggest games in the country. It's Alabama, Texas.
Well, there's another big reason why there's a big rivalry going on here. So in the past, I can't remember if it was last season or a season before, but so there's rules around tickets. All right. Ticket sales. You have to have X number of tickets set aside for away players. And that includes the player's family and the band and everything like that. And so I think it was last year whenever Alabama, because they were not in conference and they're still not in conference. Normally, whenever you're in conference, you have to save like X number of like good seats. Mm-hmm. Well, if it's out of conference for the opposing team, you have to save X number of seats, but they don't have to be very good. So whenever Alabama came to Texas sat the band like way up in the nosebleed section. And so this year, what did Alabama do? Put Texas way up in the nosebleed section. And so they've been having these little spats like that. They're just back and forth of just disrespect.
Well, how did the guy end up from, you said he went to Ohio State. Now he's in Texas?
They can move.
Here's what's crazy, though. So Texas's quarterback, he went to Ohio State, really never played, and had an NIL deal. So at 18, should be a senior in high school. He was a multimillionaire, right? And Milrow, I haven't looked at him up, but I just know he left early. So, no one really got to see him play their senior year. So he hit the transfer portal and went to Texas. Quinn Ewers, if you ever see him, he has blonde hair and a mullet, and he wears sunglasses a lot.
Oh my gosh.
He's straight from Texas. And so last year they're playing Alabama, and he's having the game of his life, and he gets hurt. And so Alabama ends up, they win 2019, but I swear to you, they were going to beat them.
Listen, because they should have had that safety, and they didn't have the safety, and that mess. They should have won that game.
Who, Alabama?
No, Texas.
Texas should have won that game. They lost by 1 point, and it came down to, at some point during the game, they got a safety, but the refs, they called it not a safety, and that's part of the controversy too, is they probably should have won that game.
And so you got Quinn Ewers at Texas, and in the offseason, they picked up another quarterback, Arch Manning, which is Peyton Manning's nephew.
Of course.
He wore number 19, went to the same high school. So he's their backup. They're not really redshirting him, so he might come in the game. No one knows. So there's a lot of drama, a lot of eyeballs on this one.
Yeah, I was just going to say, this sounds very high school drama.
Yeah, this has been the game. People, analysts, sports channels, everybody's looking forward to this game. It should be a really, really good game. But, so their mascots, Alabama is an elephant.
For the Crimson Tide?
Yes. And then Texas is the Longhorns.
Why are they an elephant? How does that make any sense?
The origin of the mascot dates back to 1930, when a sports writer wrote that Alabama in 1930 is a typical Wade machine, which is Coach Wallace, which is powerful, big, tough, fast, aggressive, and well-schooled in fundamentals, and the best blocking team for this early in the season that he's ever seen. So using that flair and everything else that they were saying, at the end of the first quarter and the earth started to tremble, there was a distant rumble and continued to grow. Some excited fan in the stands bellowed, "Hold your horses, the elephants are coming." And thus gave rise to the mascot of an elephant.
An elephant from Alabama.
Yep.
All right.
So the Texas Longhorns then descended from the cattle brought by Spanish explorers and settled in first significant numbers, crossing to Texas in the early 1700s. And yeah, and I mean, everywhere you go, Longhorns, like everywhere. So, I mean, for a big Texas school, it's really not shocking that they're the Longhorns. So, Laura, elephant, v Longhorn, who you picking?
If you go to a video there, if you type in Bevo, that's their mascot. The thing's huge. It's like a big bull, big horns.
So here's the thing. I just looked up their pictures because I also think the way the mascot looks matters. Mm-hmm. And who I think would win in a fight of actual mascots
Bevo
is Texas, because he looks a little more fierce. But, okay, let's break this down, because I also looked up the logo for Alabama. The elephant in that logo is definitely an African elephant. Its ears are like...
No, for sure.
So, African elephant versus Texas Longhorn? I don't know, man.
Okay. Yeah, because here's the thing. I can't see any situation where either one of them would attack and not just try to run.
Agreed. Although, you and I both know elephants can be pretty aggressive for no good reason.
Yeah, they can, especially if it's a male and musk.
Yeah.
Then maybe.
I think also, let's say they actually did fight. Cage match, couldn't escape, couldn't run away. I think that a Texas Longhorn, they're made for defense. Their horns are out sideways. They push.
Yeah.
Whereas an elephant's tusks are facing forward.
Yeah.
And I just think an elephant would wreck a cow. I don't care how big the cow is.
That's a good one. I just think an elephant would wreck a cow.
It would impale them with its tusks or grab them with their trunk and just beat them to death.
Yeah, I think when push comes to shove, if they had to.
If they had to, I think the elephant would win.
Yeah.
But there's this awesome Texas Longhorn that used to be at Lake Tobias where I used to work. His name was Big John, and he was so,
that's an awesome name.
He was so big and so docile. He would just sleep in the field all day, all by himself. And he'd then come up to the bus and he'd eat corn and he'd stick his tongue out really far. So freaking cute. But that was the biggest cow I've ever seen.
Yeah, they are huge. They can get very, very big.
Yeah. This probably is inaccurate. I mean, as far as the football, but I think the elephant would win.
Yeah, I mean, I still think it would win if it was forced to. If it was forced to.
And it's got the smarts to be able to outsmart a cow.
Yeah, like cows are smart. Cows are a lot smarter than what people give them credit for. However, they're almost not as quick.
Yeah.
Like fast smart as what an elephant would be.
Elephants are crafty.
Yes. No, they definitely are.
Crafty. Those crafty elephants.
No, they are.
Well, wait, Donnie, who do you think's going to win? I mean, you have to say Texas, right? You have to.
Well,
no, he's not a Longhorns fan. He's a Louisiana Tech.
Yeah, you are correct. But, if it came down to if they were really going to get in a fight, I don't know if any animal is going to beat an African elephant. I don't know what animal would win.
From the football perspective, who are you calling?
Alabama, because I think Jalen Milroe is going to win the Heisman Trophy this year. No one's talking about him. I don't think they're going to lose a game. So, Alabama. As a fan, though, living here locally, I thought Quinn would have won last year, or he was going to win, and he got hurt. So,
well, they should have won that game.
I'm kind of rooting for him as a redemption of last year.
So, from the animal perspective, Alabama. From the football perspective, Alabama. All righty. So, this is the first week of the NFL. So, let's go ahead and do our NFL game. Donnie, you want to talk about the Laura's NFL segment?
So, Laura, are you up to par on your NFL statistics? And
absolutely not. I didn't even know it was starting.
The NFL kicks off this week. These are the guys that actually get paid. What made this week tough is there's not a lot of animal matchups. But so Katie and I were kind of texting back and forth, and what I like about this is I think there's a lot of hatred towards these teams from Katie. So
can I say shit match?
So I was kind of hoping y'all could go into detail about who would win in this battle. It's the Cincinnati Bengals and the Cleveland Browns. And
Dingles? Wait. There is an NFL.
Bengals. Like,
I was like,
Cincinnati Dingles. Yes, that's definitely more accurate. I'll tell you that. That's definitely more accurate.
I was like, I thought I knew all the NFL team names, at least by hearing. I've never heard of the Dingles. Okay, the Bengals. I have heard of the Bengals. And what was the other one?
Cleveland Browns.
Oh, right. But what's their mascot?
The dog. A Mastiff, which you know what a Mastiff is.
Yeah.
The breed. Big, burly Mastiff versus the Bengal, not a Dingle.
How big is a Mastiff?
They're big. They're one of the bigger, burly dog, strong jaw breeds.
Like Great Dane size, like big?
Bigger.
Not, yeah, well,
not
they're like
taller,
huskier.
But yeah, beefier.
Yeah. So for a long time with Cleveland Browns, it was just drawn as like a brown dog. And it was always, I think everybody just assumed that it was a lab. And then more recently, because they just wanted to define what it was. Was it a lab or was it something else? That's whenever they ended up saying, no, it's a math.
Well, right, because who is afraid of a lab?
Yeah, nobody. Which, I mean, to be fair, no one's afraid of the Cleveland Browns either. So
I'm afraid of their fans. Their fans eat dog biscuits at the game.
Ew.
I mean, it's Cleveland. So yeah, so if it's a Mastiff versus a Bengal.
This thing up. Sounds big.
I mean, this has actually happened before in history. So the Romans this dog was bred for doing this.
Oh, wait a minute. This is like Cujo?
Pretty much, yeah.
Oh, this is like Cujo versus a tiger.
Yes, that's what I was going to say, yeah.
Yeah. And this
Ooh.
breed has been around for like 3,000 years. And the Romans actually used to make them fight tigers and lions, bulls, other dogs, and even human gladiators.
Ooh.
So this thing is made to fight tigers.
Yeah, they're definitely war dogs, but their jobs have always been protection, whether it's livestock, whether it's community, whether it's always been work. It's always been the work that they've done has been protection.
Yeah, protection or like
and fighting.
Yeah, or fighting.
So this dog's like a beast.
Yeah.
So was this a dog on The Sandlot as well? Is that the movie The Sandlot?
I think that's the dog from The Sandlot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Interesting.
I'm just looking up the weight difference because a Mastiff, they weigh 100 to 100.
I don't think
they're only 100 to 130 pounds. Can that be true?
Yeah, no.
No, wait, that's a bull Mastiff. Hold on. Just kidding. 120 to 230 pounds.
Yeah. Yeah, that sounds right. I was like, no, these are huge dogs.
Yeah. But a Bengal tiger, so a female Bengal tiger at the low end is 220. A Mastiff at the high end is 230. So if we did even weight, maybe.
The fattest, biggest Mastiff you can find.
The fattest Mastiff and the scrawniest female tiger. Maybe. But
yeah, I
in general, I would say, I mean, a tiger, 30 inches tall, 3 feet tall. What's 30 inches? Almost 3 feet. A tiger's taller.
Mm-hmm.
And a male is so much bigger.
Well, I was going to say from the outside looking in, I think anybody would just, Tiger's going to win that battle all day, every day. But the way you are describing this thing, this is interesting.
Well, yeah, I mean, it's meant to fight and protect.
I think if I was going to say average of each species, I would say the tiger would win. But depending on the circumstances, I do think a male Mastiff possibly defeat a small female.
So the world record for the biggest Mastiff was in 1989, and it was for the world's largest dog. It stood 37 inches tall at the shoulder, was 8 feet 3 inches long from tip of nose to the tail. His name was Zorba, and he weighed 343 pounds.
Okay, so that's more of like,
which
so
is
a tiger,
ginormous.
Yeah, a tiger is a Bengal, because all tiger species are different.
Yep.
A Bengal is 3 to 3.5 feet at the shoulder, same height.
Yeah.
They are, I mean, that's still, a female at the high end is 350. A male at the low end is 440.
If you look up pictures of Zorba, I mean, it is a huge freaking dog.
Oh, yeah.
Like huge.
I was going to say, but that's just one dog. Yeah. I'm just saying that's one dog.
Yeah, but can you imagine, like, if that thing got ticked off?
I'm looking at his paw print on his owner's shoulder. It's bigger than the owner's head. This is like the size of a bear.
What I think would happen, like, if you wanted to play-by-play, what I think would happen is that the cat would scratch, and it's got the reach, and it would disembowel or something that Mastiff, and then as soon as the Mastiff was down, then it would go for his throat. Whereas the Mastiff, it has to get in close. And the tiger doesn't.
Yeah, I just don't think it could get close fast enough to really, even though it is for fighting, I just don't know if it could outbeat a tiger, the agility of the tiger. All right, so Laura, who are you then picking for tiger versus Mastiff then?
Bengals.
Me too. And I hate the Bengals, but really don't want to pick one. I hate them both. They both suck. But I guess the Bengals from an animal perspective, not for any other reason. Let that be clear. Donnie, what about the football side?
I'm taking the Cleveland Browns.
Ugh.
I think anybody I would have picked, she would have went, ugh.
Yeah, I'm questioning your football knowledge here if you're going to pick them. So, alrighty. So Laura and I are going to go Bengals on this one, and then Donnie's going to go Browns for whatever unknown reason.
We'll see.
That wraps up this week then, and then we'll see who's right, and then tune in next week. We're going to do the same thing. We'll drop them on Saturdays, for college football and NFL.